Welcome to task 3 of unit 3 in math 2. In this task you have a link that you'll travel to, and in that link there'll be a lot of information about angles and more angles of triangles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into a different program and explain pretty much everything that you're going to learn. Now, my explanation doesn't serve as the actual experience you're supposed to have, but it more or less summarizes everything you'll see. So here, and I do apologize about the blank space. Let's see if I can zoom into, let's go 90%. Let's try 80%. Okay, that at least gets everything. Okay, so this circle in the top left, we more or less have the central angle, which is here. Okay, again, that being the central angle, and then we have an inscribed angle that is back here. Now, this central angle could be anything like, let's say I take off the scribbling that I just did, and I wrote in, it looks to be about 70, maybe a little bit more, 70 degrees. Now, based on what you've learned about central angles, if the central angle is 70 degrees, that means that the arc is 70 degrees as well. So, notice here the central angle is touching the circle, and here the central angle is touching the circle. But there's another angle, this inscribed angle, that's touching the same points. Now there's no way for this angle to be 70 as well. It's not as wide as the central angle. So with inscribed angles, it has the same measure as the central, but it's cut in half. So that means this angle here is, and let me write it better, 3, is 30, come on, 35. So, central angles, again, same measure as the arc, but the inscribed angle for that central is half of it. Now, if you had the inscribed and didn't know the central, hopefully you understand that you would multiply by 2. In this second circle, over here, we have a four-sided shape that's kind of, I don't want to say kind of, that is positioned within the boundaries of the circle. Now, this is not a familiar shape. Again, the sides are all of different lengths. However, there's something important. Remember that a circle is 360 degrees, and the sum of the angles for the quadrilateral is 360 degrees as well. But I want us to focus at this point and that point. Alright? If we look at this angle, no matter what it is, it goes across the minor arc. Right? Or it's connected to that minor arc. This angle up top, okay, goes around to create the major arc. With that said, what can we say? What do I want to say? What could we say about the sum of, and let me erase these arrows. Let's say I label these A and B. What could we say about the measures of angles A and B? Will they be a total of 360 or something else? As we look back to the inscribed angle, remember the inscribed angle was half of the central. Now the central angles would, what could you say, create the total of 360. But because A and B are inscribed, they would be half of the 360. Again, because it's the inscribed angles, they would be half of 360. Ah. Now, the same will go for the other two angles, C and D. Let's say we take away A and B. C, again, is this angle here, connects here. I'm going to use bigger dots. D as well connects to C here. So C points to this arc. Let's call that the minor one. And D points to this arc. Sorry, I had my alarm. So anyway, the minor arc and the major arc, yes, they're a total of 360 degrees. But because these angles are not situated about the center, they will be half of what the central angles are. So if they're half of the central angles, they certainly are half of the 360. Again, that is C plus D. And let me write that. C degrees plus D degrees equals 180. And the same goes for A in degrees plus B in degrees equals 180. Now, in this next part, we're going to work with some more circles and angles. But we're going to look at the angles created by intersecting arcs. So let's say we wanted to find X here. Alright? This angle could be about 150 degrees. I'm just estimating. This angle on the back side could be about 120 degrees. Let's go 140. Yeah, let's do 140. Maybe. Now, in order to find X, well, X is not going to be 150 because this is not at the center. It's certainly not going to be 140 because, again, this is not at the center. But what you do is you need to find the average of the 150 and the 140. And in order to find the average of two numbers, you take both numbers and you add them up. So 150 plus 140 is 290. Divided by 2 is 145. 145 being the degrees for X, the value for X. It is not saying that it's a central angle. Likewise, let's say we look on the top side. Well, we can just leave it at that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your online teacher. And as always, I've had fun.